Hello, everyone. This is Ivo from Ibiquo, and I would like to share with you how we have calculated the highest scoring category, and we have set it this value in our contacts and leads in an account engagement environment. As you know, with the scoring categories, we can identify the level of interest on different topics or different products in our prospects. However, why setting the highest score category? It's interesting. So the first thing is about the nurturing programs. So having a value that will tell us which is the highest scoring category will help us in order to segment faster and easier because there is no easy way in account engagement in order to create a segmentation and compare to a scoring category. So in this case, it will help us for the segmentation and then also for content personalization, right? So if I am sending an email with dynamic content, for example, it will be easier to have this highest scoring category set in order to present different type of communications for the user without creating several templates. Also, sales notification. For us, it's key that when we pass the information to our sales team, that we provide as fast as possible a quick understanding on what is the information that or the topic the prospect is interested of. So for us, showing a very clear highest score category will make faster this understanding and also will help them to go faster to a personalized pitch. And then the creation of the opportunities. Also, when we have several products, for example, it can be an interesting way to identify, okay, where we need to, or what type of opportunity I need to create because of the level of interest of the two with this highest score category is basically to have the name of the score category set very clearly in the contact on the lead in order to show this information in a page layout for segmentation, etc. The points that I mentioned before. But what are the challenges that we can face in the creation of this highest score category? So basically, the first thing is this automation to set this value is not something that we will be able to do in account engagement, or at least I don't know how I will do it. So we will go for flows in Salesforce. Right now, with account engagement more and more integrated in Salesforce, it's creating the flows. It's the fastest process for a marketer in order to automatize more complex process like this one. So what we want is first to avoid Salesforce limit. We don't want that every time a record is edited or every time that a record do an interaction, this highest scoring category will be updated. So this is something important and something that we need to keep in mind in order to avoid that have Salesforce limitations and then generate sync errors. The second point will be not having random calculations. And what I mean with that is basically what we don't want either is that, for example, a user has one scoring category with one value because they visit one page and then they go to another page and they change the highest scoring category, and that value changes a lot because that will be confusing for the sales team, that will be confusing for the segmentation, the type of email that we are sending, etc., etc., etc. So these are 2 points that we wanted to avoid with this project. So it's something that we kept in mind. So before starting and entering in the flow that we created, the first thing is first, of course, to have the scoring category in place. Having it implemented for a while will be interesting in order to test real records, in order to see records having different values, especially if you have more than 2 scoring categories. That will be interesting to have it first in place. Then we need to have to create beforehand the text field in Salesforce in order to have in the leads and in the contacts this highest scoring category. We recommend it to have it as text field. At the beginning, when we started working on this, we created it as pick list. However, having it as a text field will make the process easier to copy from the score category and to the lead and the contact and not having any error or issue. Create a trigger field. What we mean is that we don't want that all the time when a score category is updated, they enter in the flow. We know that that can create some errors in the process. So what we did is to create a trigger field that I will explain right away. And the other point is about we will need to create one flow per object. So as you know, we have an object that is created in Salesforce that is a score category in contacts and a score category in leads. So it is not possible, or at least in the process that we are going to explain, we didn't have the way to do it in one single flow. So what we did is to create two different flows. So what I'm going to do is to explain you how we work on the flow. Basically, this is the flow. It's quite simple, as you can see, or it seems quite simple. So the first thing that I'm going to do is a type of flow. I'm going to explain you, sorry, is a type of flow. So one of the points that and every time that we think about creating a flow is which is a type of flow that we need to create. So we confirm this information with our client. We know that we don't need to have this highest scoring category updated in real time. At the same time, as I mentioned, we wanted to avoid these random calculations. We wanted to avoid the Salesforce limits. So what we decided is to do a scheduled flow that will update the information in the records every day. And so that is the first thing that we decide and then that we put in place. Then to enter more in detail in the trigger, here you can see first the trigger. As I said, it's going to be daily. This is an example of the part of the score category contact, which is the object that we will use to trigger this flow. And then the condition that we are using is that to have this trigger field that I mentioned before equal as true. So what is going to be this field about? As you can see here, is a formula field that we created in order to have or the creation date of this score category today, or the last modified date is today. So basically, we are checking if the score category has been created or has been updated. And in this way, we are going to trigger the flow and not every day. Okay, so moving back to the flow, let's go to get contact. So here, basically, I'm pretty simple. After I start the flow, the first thing that I'm going to do is to get the contact. So what I will do is to have the condition that the ID of the contact, it has to be equal to the ID that it's related to the score category. So let's go with the part of the calculation. So basically here, what I will do is after I got the contact, what I'm calling and I'm trying to get here is the part of category score of this specific contact. Of course, the condition is that the ID of the contact related to this score category has to be the same ID of the contact that I got before. And here, to get the highest score category, basically what I do is to collect only the first record, only the first score category, and I am sorting the result by having only the highest one. So this is basically the way how I am calculating the highest score category. And finally, as I have already the highest score category, what I will do is to copy this on the field that I already created. This is where I was explaining before that it is important to have it in text because it will be less complicated, and this is important always to try to make it the things less complicated as possible, but it will be less errors, less possibility of errors to have a text and just copy from the scoring category name to the score category that it's the field that will be in the lead in the contact. And that's it. After and what I would recommend is to run several tests to compare the different results, and with that to see if that makes sense for you and this is the information that you are looking for. Okay, so hopefully it's useful. Let me know if you have any question and see you soon.